Southern country gentlemen, so you gentlemen please pretend you're Southern country gentlemen while I sing this song. There are men and gentlemen, and there are good old boys. Some of them are quiet, some make lots of noise. Let me tell you here and now, whether short or tall, a Southern country gentleman is the finest man of all. He likes to sing, he likes to talk, and if he takes you for a walk, he will steal a kiss if he can. He's just himself and nothing more. Believe me, ladies, you'll adore a Southern country gentleman. I am sure you have heard, once he's given you his word, then he offers you his hand. That's his bond, and you can bet you never will forget a Southern country gentleman. There's a place in Texas, so they say, a quiet, peaceful hideaway, and they call it Garland Bend. All your cares you can forget. If you go there, you'll be met by a Southern country gentleman. There are men and gentlemen, and there are good old boys. Some of them are quiet, some make lots of noise. Let me tell you here and now, whether short or tall, a Southern country gentleman is the finest man of all. A Southern country gentleman. I started my career 2.5 years ago at 62. I'm having the time of my life, and if I'd have known I was going to have all this much fun at this age, I couldn't have waited till I got here. There's a story behind each and every song I write. And the first one I wrote after I won the contest is called They Say. A friend of mine, knowing I'm very truthful, said to me, "Now don't tell them how old you are. You could pass for 40 or 45. Doubt that, but I said, you know, if I was proud to say I was 2, how come I can't be proud to say I'm 62? I did not commit a crime. And I got to thinking, we're beat to death with our age all our life. We're never the right age except for 2. Everybody's so happy when you know you're 2. When you turn 3, it starts, and they say, you're too young for this. When you get older, I'll explain that. In a few years, it changes, and they say, when are you going to act your age? When are you going to grow up? Well, they let us alone between 16 and 21, but if you happen to be a young man and you've reached the age of 25 and you don't have a wife, they say, you mean you're not married yet? Everybody's heard this negative thing. Oh, he's 30. He hasn't amounted to anything. He never will. Maybe his opportunity hasn't come along yet. And then they hit you with over the hill at 40, and you're supposed to forget the whole thing. This is called They Say. They say if you are young, the world belongs to you. Young or old, it matters not. It's all in what you do. They say that I could pass for 40 or 45. Well, I've been there, and it was great. You can see that I survived. Age is just a number. Take a tip from me. I'll still be just as happy when I say I'm 93. They say that if by 40 you haven't made your mark, you may as well lay down and die. It's just too late to start. Well, I never met this fellow you keep referring to, and with a name as strange as they, I hope I never do. They say the label in your clothes determines quality. Who and what you are, my friend, is all that counts, you see. So don't try to impress someone with the name or what you paid, 'cause that will just convince them you're another fool they made. No, I never met this fellow you keep referring to, and with a name as strange as they, I hope I never do. And with a name as strange as they, I hope I never do. Thank you. You know, the morning after I won the contest, I realized when my feet hit the floor, there had been 3 people in their 30s that had congratulated me that night, saying I had given them new hope. And I realized that what I was going to do was not just share my songs that people seemed to like, but to try to put some positive ideas in the world and to encourage people to do something with the gifts they were born with. One of the songs I won the contest with is called Please. I'm a little facetious at times, and I love to do that. You have no idea what a song could be about. Called Please. Well, it tells its own story. First you please your parents, and then when you are grown, you try to please the one you've chosen for your own. Very soon the children come, and you please them one by one, trying hard to make a house a home. You go to church on Sunday just to please the Lord. You go to work on Monday, you're working very hard just to please the boss so you can draw your pay. On and on it goes day after day. Is all this pleasing you? Are you happy in all the things you do? There's a question in my mind, tell me please if you don't mind. Is all this pleasing you? You try to please your family, you try to please your friends. Do you ever wonder, will it never end? You're always busy pleasing everybody else. Remember, you've got to please yourself. Is all this pleasing you? Are you happy in all the things you do? There's a question in my mind, tell me please if you don't mind. Is all this pleasing you? There's a question in my mind, tell me please if you don't mind. Is all this pleasing you? You know, I was entertaining 1st to 6th graders, looking in the bright little eyes, thinking of the new ideas they had to give to the world. And what do we do to them? We say, now this is the way we do it. Or this is the way it must be done. And there go the new ideas the world needs. I wrote a song called Dare to Be Different. Dare to be different, dare to be you. You were born to give the world something new. Guard against being anyone's fool. Always live by the golden rule. There are those that will tell you when to walk and to run. They're seeking power to control everyone. Be your own person and do things your way. And always remember these words that I say. Dare to be different, dare to be you. You were born to give the world something new. Guard against being anyone's fool. Always live by the golden rule. Life is a challenge, life is a game. People are like flowers, no two are the same. They grow and they bloom, each in their own time. Always keep trying and remember this rhyme. Dare to be different, dare to be you. You were born to give the world something new. Guard against being anyone's fool. Always live by the golden rule. Now the road that you walk, to the left or the right, they are as different as day is from night. Your choice determines whether you win or lose. Positive or negative, which one will you choose? Dare to be different, dare to be you. You were born to give the world something new. Guard against being anyone's fool. Always live by the golden rule. And speaking of positive, you've read books on positive thinking. You've heard people speak on positive thinking. Well, I'm here to tell you it's only half a truth. Now, half a truth is better than no truth. You can't throw it away. But they have only give you half of a ball. It isn't going to roll very far. They never tell you about the other part. Well, I'm going to tell you about it, and you'll never forget it. It's called positive action. You take the positive thinking, and you put the positive action with it, and I can tell you, miracles occur. They have occurred in my life. We all have gifts. If you want to be encouraged, whatever it is you want to do not go to people who know you. You want to go to total strangers. We were an average family. Grandfather had a big farm in Arkansas, and he had a half a dozen cows and half a dozen horses. Had them all named, and he had a little dog. And that little dog could go get anyone that he would tell that dog to get, bring it to the barn from the pasture. He could say, get the cows, and he'd leave the horses alone, leave them grazing, and bring the cows, or vice versa, or all the cows and the horses. And on occasion, strangers would come and see this. And they would say, this is wonderful. This dog is amazing. We didn't think she was amazing. She did it every day. And that's the way with you. They see you every day. I had a fellow, about 10 years ago, I had to learn that, you see. We're fortunate we learn as we grow a little older. I went to this fellow, he had all the papers, he had his master's degree, his PhD, and I figured he'd honestly tell me what to do with my songs and poems. Tell me what he thought, and he did. Well, Italene, he said, they're very simple. I got to thinking about that on my way home, and he was right. They're simple. It's the way I live my life, it's the way I write my songs. But this is what you call taking a negative and making a positive out of it. If you ever do it, I tell you, it's a fantastic feeling. I wrote 2 songs because of what he said. The first one is called Listen. It's kind of directed to him, but then maybe everybody. You may not like the songs I write, but you're polite, you listen. The words, it's true, I sing to you are nothing new, but listen. Listen to the words I'm saying. Listen to the prayers I'm praying, even though they're simple as can be. Listen to the songs I'm singing, with the message they are bringing. Nothing's complicated about me. The story's clear if you are near, just lend an ear and listen. I hope you find that I'm the kind that tells your mind to listen. Listen to the words I'm saying. Listen to the prayers I'm praying, even though they're simple as can be. Listen to the songs I'm singing, with the message they are bringing. Nothing's complicated about me. The other one is called Simple and Sincere. The things my mother taught me has helped along my way, but But the most important thing she taught, I remember every day. She'd hold me close and whisper, now listen to me, dear. Don't complicate your life, keep it simple and sincere. She would say, remember, and always be yourself. No matter how you try, you can't be someone else. Each one of us is special, like no one else that's here. Don't complicate your life, keep it simple and sincere. Each one has a gift that's given to be used to make the world a better place. Believe me, you can't lose if you just give it all you've got. Remember while you're here, don't complicate your life, keep it simple and sincere. The things my mother taught me has helped along my way, but the most important thing she taught, I remember every day. She'd hold me close and whisper, now listen to me, dear. Don't complicate your life, keep it simple and sincere. I'd like you to know that I had an angel for a mother. I wasn't fortunate enough in having an earthly father, but my mother made up for it. When I was 13 years old, she bought me a guitar. I was the fourth child of four, the baby. No matter how old you get, you're always the baby. I'm so thankful Mother got to see and know about all the things that happened to me. I said, you know, Mother, she heard me on television, she heard me on radio, I read the articles in the newspapers and magazines about me, and I said, Mother, it's a dream come true. Honey, she says, you never dreamed of anything like this. She was right. The first song I ever wrote in my life was for my mother. I was 14, and I have an album, and this is on it. A song for Mother, the one that I love. She means the world to me. She's kind and so sweet, she makes my life complete. Just a song for Mother from me. Now when I was young, my life just begun, she led me right from the start. And that's why now I'll show my love somehow. That's why I sit here tonight and write a song for Mother, the one that I love. She means the world to me. She's kind and so sweet, she makes my life complete. Just a song for Mother from me. My mother was the most intelligent lady I ever knew, and she continued to be that and continued to teach me lessons until she began her new life at 98, 6 months, and 3 years, in 3 days, last August. I was about 15 years old, and I had a young man tell me he was in love with me. Now, I really did like him, but I didn't know if I was in love with him or not, and I said, Mother, how will I know when I'm in love? She said, when you don't ask me that question. I wrote that little guy a song called A Friend. I have a picture of him. He has black curly hair and blue eyes, and now looking back, I wonder how come I didn't love him. I liked you as a friend, I will until the end, but you fell in love with me. I saw you falling and I had to change your mind. I didn't want to make you hate me, I didn't mean to be unkind. But I wanted happiness and you wanted love. And before I knew it, Cupid gave your heart a shove. Now you're lonesome and blue, you see, and I'm sorry as can be. But I wanted happiness and you wanted me. You know, in this world, they tell us we're either wrong or right. All my life, I've had a problem with that. Couldn't we all be right? And I got to thinking one day, what's an absolute? Math is about as close to an absolute as you're going to get. You either got the problem right or wrong. There were a couple of little children, hadn't started to school yet, very bright. Teacher was going to give them a test to see just all these children knew. Well, she went through all the subjects, and it was wonderful. And then she came to math. And she said, what is half of 8? The little boy jumped up real quick, and he said, it's 3. No, she said, that's wrong. Well, the little girl raised her hand rather shyly, and she said, then it has to be 0. No, she said, that's wrong. You've had a lot of subjects, but you haven't had math. Half of 8 is 4. How in the world did you ever think it was 3? She said to the little boy. Well, you said, what is half of 8? It's 3. And the little girl said if it wasn't 3, it had to be 0. 3 right answers. I don't know what it'll do for you, but I'll tell you what it did for me. It made me a little more tolerant of my brother and sister, because it may be that they're just looking at it a little different than I. Kind of like this. If the fellow's on the roof and he says, Italene, can't you see? Well, of course I can't. I'm down here. I write songs for various reasons. This one's a true story about a young man that came back to Seattle looking for a long-lost love when he was very young. A tall Texas gentleman came riding into town. He was asking questions and looking all around. He said, I had a yellow rose a long, long time ago. I wonder where she is today, does anybody know? I looked into the Texan's eyes, he could not hide the truth. The love was just as strong today as it had been in his youth. I said, I know the yellow rose, she's just as fair today. She was when you knew her, before you went away. Now many years had come and gone, I knew when their eyes met. The feeling deep within their heart, they never would forget. I do not know the ending to the story I have told, but I do know the Texan found his yellow rose. I do know that Texan and he found his yellow rose. You know, some of the sayings that we've held on to are terribly negative. Like opportunity only knocks once. How much more negative can you get than that? Had a fellow not long ago, he said, Italene, I missed my opportunity. I said, for goodness sakes, there's a better one coming up. I don't think opportunity knocks at all. I think it's ever beckoning to us every moment that we live. And if you miss one, there's a better one coming up, like I told him. A friend of mine's writing a book about how to motivate women to do what they want to do. Now, I spent 20 years in creative sales because I had to support my family. I put 2 boys through college. If you don't know what creative sales is, that's selling someone something they didn't know they needed or wanted. Well, she asked me, she said, Italene, what is a woman? Gee, I said, I don't know. I just am one. Well, I wrote a song, What is a Woman? This is my definition. And there's one line in this gentleman tried my best to replace. But my songs are written in about 10 minutes, and I couldn't find anything to fit in there, and I said, well, just left it. So when I get to that part, I'm sure it doesn't fit you, but you know somebody that it does. A woman's a lady, a girl and a child. She can be gentle or she can be wild. She can be a mother, a wife and a friend. A woman is someone on whom to depend. Don't tell me woman is weaker than man. She was created equal according to plan. Man has an ego that says dominate. Believe me, both woman and man can be great. Now a woman's a giver, but she loves to receive. Don't dominate her, you'll force her to leave. She grows on love, and without it she dies. She lives on the truth, don't tell her lies. Now if you can't love her, leave her alone. Don't be possessive, her soul is her own. She'll love and she'll cherish if you'll do the same. It takes true commitment for her to remain. A woman's a lady, a girl and a child. She can be gentle or she can be wild. She can be a mother, a wife and a friend. A woman is someone on whom to depend. A woman's a lady. And speaking of women, you know, on some of the things that they tell us, they put us a little bit of positive in there so that we'll swallow the negative. Behind every great man, there's a good woman. You put her behind and you're going to have yourself a problem. Should I name some of them that's been behind? Beside every great man, there's a great woman. Then you got yourself a partner, and let me tell you, you can't lose. I had a partner for 40 years. He was a southern country gentleman from Kentucky. I met him in Chicago. I want you to know that I think the Northwest country gentlemen are fantastic. Truly, I believe the Northwest could teach the South about hospitality. And I'm serious about that. They're the kindest, the most helpful people. I've been up in this area since '83. But this is called Southern Country Gentlemen, so you gentlemen, please pretend you're Southern Country Gentlemen while I sing this song. There are men and gentlemen, and there are good old boys. Some of them are quiet, some make lots of noise. Let me tell you here and now, whether short or tall, a Southern country gentleman is the finest man of all. He likes to sing, he likes to talk, and if he takes you for a walk, he will steal a kiss if he can. He's just himself and nothing more. Believe me, ladies, you'll adore a Southern country gentleman. I am sure you have heard, once he's given you his word, then he offers you his hand. That's his bond, and you can bet you never will forget a Southern country gentleman. There's a place in Texas, so they say, a quiet, peaceful hideaway, and they call it Garland Bend. All your cares you can forget. If you go there, you'll be met by a Southern country gentleman. There are men and gentlemen, and there are good old boys. Some of them are quiet, and some make lots of noise. Let me tell you here and now, whether whether short or tall, a southern country gentleman is the finest man of all. A southern country gentleman. Thank you. You know, recently I wrote a song. As I grew up, I kept my mouth shut about the way I felt. So did all the other people my age. The young people aren't like that. They tell you how they feel. And everybody's heard, I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. I'm trying to find myself. It's called confusion. And we've all been there at one time or another in our life. You're going to hear a bit of that confusion in this song. And you'll hear a bit of my philosophy. There are things I do not know, where I come from, where I go. It's here and now that matters, though, the only way to live. Questions running through my mind, answers I may never find. Still I know that being kind's the only way to live, the only way to live. Reaching out a helping hand, spreading love through all the land. This I know and understand, the only way to live. These are in this life we all must share. If you're needed, just be there. Let others know how much you care, the only way to live. These are words I had to say, so I wrote this song today. Join with me and don't delay, the only way to live, the only way to live. You know, it's just as easy to encourage people as it is to discourage, but so often people say, oh, you can't do that. And a lot of times people will give you advice, and I'm going to ask you not to take it. I could give you a dozen, for instances, in the last 2.5 years of my life. A lot of the things I have done have been unorthodox, and they weren't planned. I'm going to give you one. I cut my first single. And I was very excited. It's not every day a 62-year-old cuts a record. And I was telling everybody where I was going to take it. I was going to take it to KMBS Ichabod Kane, to KING, to KIRO, and to KOMO Stan Orchard. And every time I came to Stan Orchard, they'd say, don't take it there, Italene. He's a newsman. He won't play your record. That's logic and reason. Newsmen do not play records. But you know what? When they tell me don't, all my life, if it doesn't hurt anyone, this is the one rule my mother said, if it doesn't hurt anyone, won't you try it? I don't argue with people. You have to let people be where they were. And I know why they gave me that advice. They loved me. They didn't want to see me disappointed. When I got my record, I took it there first to get it out of the way, because everybody said don't. Not only did he play my record, I was the feature news story on the Noon Report. And you know, if you know the road you're walking, and it's so familiar that you know every step to take, you're going to miss a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know where I'm walking. I never walked this road before. And you know, it's amazing at the things that I do that I'm not supposed to do that brings results. A fella that said he'd been in the music business about 30 years said, Italene, how in the world did you ever get KING and KIRO to play your music on a talk show? I'd like to have had a picture of his face when I said, I just asked. You see, he knew he wasn't supposed to, and I didn't, and it worked. There's the action. You put the thinking in the action, and it's amazing because something moves. I wrote a song called Roads. It has a bit of my philosophy in it. And the ironic thing is that most all my songs are written in my car. It's the only time I have. It's a long song if I have a long trip. Kind of short whenever it's... I got one I'm working on now that I've only got 3 verses. But this one now, called Roads, I wrote on an airplane. Every road we travel, there's a lesson to be learned, and a new adventure in each page of life we turn. Each day's a new beginning in this space we know as time. As for me, I know there'll be another song to rhyme. Roads go here, roads go there. Which one will you choose? Sometimes we take the wrong one, and then we're sure to lose. But wait, it's not a loss if it helps to make us grow. Each experience teaches us things we need to know. Roads are just a symbol of all of life you see. Roads are just a symbol of life's diversity. As you travel down the road of life, I hope you find lots of love and happiness and true peace of mind. But if for any reason you're not where you want to be, then change directions till you find the road to set you free. Roads are just a symbol of all of life you see. Roads are just a symbol of life's diversity. Thank you. Well, I haven't sang you a love song, and I've certainly written an awful lot of them for my husband through the years, and love poems. But he was the kind of a fella, he really didn't care too much for poetry. He had a busy mind. And I could be right in the middle of a love poem, and he'd say, "Does it rhyme?" Well, I wrote one on our 25th wedding anniversary. He didn't have to ask me, "Does it rhyme?" I've never written one like it since, and probably never will. It's called Mr. Perfection. You ladies have all had one of those. If you've ever met him, you'll never forget him. You'll idolize him and recognize him as being Mr. Perfection. He's gentle and kind with such a brilliant mind. You name it, he knows it, he looks it and shows it, for he is Mr. Perfection. All man and perfect lover, there'll never be another. You see, I should know, for many years ago, I married Mr. Perfection. Now, he took me out to eat that evening to a new cafeteria that had just opened. And I stepped up to the lady and I said, "I think I'll have some chicken." She put the chicken on my plate and handed it to me. He looked at the chicken and he looked at her and he said, "I think I'll have some chicken too." She looked at the chicken and she looked at him and she turned around and got his chicken from a brand new tray they had just brought. And I wrote, "Oh yes, I might mention, he rates special attention from the young and the old, from the shy and the bold. They know he is Mr. Perfection." I don't know why it is men think that they have to buy the one they love things. My husband was no exception. He would say to me often, "You deserve someone to give you many things." Looking back, I wonder what he had in mind. I had a new home. I had 2 beautiful sons, and he brought in all the money. But I was a serious kind of a wife, and I wrote a song called "The Things You Gave to Me." I think if the lady loves the man and she were to make a list, he would be at the top. You say that I deserve someone to give me many things, but don't you know there's more to give than gold and diamond rings? You gave to me your arms to hold me close to you, and money cannot buy a pair of eyes so blue. Where on sale can I find a heart so kind and true? My darling, all these things you gave me when you said I do. The things that money cannot buy are much more precious, dear. You cannot buy a blue sky when the sunshine won't appear. And who would want to live alone and live in luxury? What good are priceless jewels when dreams can never be? You say I only have your love, that's enough for me. I wouldn't take a million for the things you gave to me. To know that I'll possess your heart until the day I die means more to me than all the gold this old world could buy. The happiness that we have shared, so very few have known. A contented mind you also gave, I know you're mine alone. There is no end to all the gifts you give so willingly. I wouldn't take a million for the things you gave to me. I wouldn't take a million for the things you gave to me. Thank you. Well, I sang the first song that I wrote for my mother. The last song that I wrote for my mother, I wrote it in about 10 minutes. She couldn't see for the last couple of years of her life. And on occasion she would say to me, do I look any different than I did when I could see? Well, I got to looking at her one day and I said, Mother, you have less wrinkles than you did have. Now, honey, she says, don't tease me. Mother and I always had a good time when we were together. We were just, both of us, just like a couple of kids. I said, it's true, you lay in your bed and you lay in your chair and gravity has took them away. Oh, she got the biggest laugh out of that. And then when she got through laughing, she said, well, you know, maybe you better lay some. This is a song that I'd like Kenny Rogers to do. I can see the video. I didn't know I had written a love song. This was written for my mother. But if I removed the last verse, it would make a wonderful love song between a man and woman. And the reason I'd like Kenny to do it is because he has white beard. And I'd like a lady with white hair to be sitting next to him. And at one point, and you'll know it, in one verse, he would flash back and show a young couple in a flower garden. But you're going to hear it the way it was written for my mother, and one of these days, you will see it in a video. It's called I Don't See You With My Eyes, I See You With My Heart. The years have swiftly passed, time has took its toll, according to the numbers, you and I are growing old. But there's something you should know, and it's been right from the start. I don't see you with my eyes, I see you with my heart. Oh, they say that love is blind, on that I will agree. For when I look at you, I don't see what others see. I look into your soul, to a kind and loving part. I don't see you with my eyes, I see you with my heart. You are young and you are pretty, with a flower in your hair, and you speak and reassure me, telling me how much you care. Oh, I know your love protects me Even when we're far apart, I don't see you with my eyes. I see you with my heart. I am speaking of you, Mother, my angel here on earth. For I know that you have loved me since the moment of my birth. This song is just for you, with a message to impart. I don't see you with my eyes, I see you with my heart. Have you ever been to Las Vegas? You know, I went to Las Vegas to show my husband what it was like. After 20 years in creative sales, my boys were through college. The older one was working on his master's degree and was married. The younger one came over one evening, and his daddy said, you know, I've always wanted to go to Las Vegas, see what it's like. He said, Mother, we could take the travel trailer, and Dad could see what it's like. I'll go with you. I said, okay, we did. Well, we were out there about 6 weeks, and it was long in November, you know, and then come December, but it was still snowing pretty bad back east, and I thought, well, I'm kind of a busy kind of person. I have been all my life, and I couldn't sit still. I kept seeing these ads in the paper, and I thought, well, you know, I'm going to get me a job. Got me a job at the MGM Grand Hotel in the gift shop as a security officer. I've always been pretty good with a gun. Well, I had to be around an awful lot of money, and I had to walk the owners to their car at 2 o'clock in the morning in a parking lot. And I got to thinking one night, after about 6 weeks of this, sooner or later, somebody is going to try me. I decided maybe I should look for another job. Well, that night, a fellow came up to me and made up our mind for me. He must have been about 7 feet tall, and he looked down at me and he said, is the gun loaded? I said, it wouldn't be on my hip if it wasn't loaded. He said, you're awful little to be carrying a gun. I said, you know, it doesn't make any difference whether you're 2 feet tall or 10 when the bullet comes out. Well, I went the next day and got me a job at the Dunes Hotel, 9 to 5. In sales, you work from the moment you awake till the moment you go to sleep. I kind of liked it. This is the story of Las Vegas. And like I said, the long car ride, this was the long car ride. I went to Las Vegas, and I'm not a gambler. I knew I must work to survive. The Dunes Hotel and Country Club hired me from 9 to 5. Well, the work wasn't easy, but I'm not a quitter, and I was there every day, doing my best to make my 8 hours and knowing that I'd draw my pay. Well, before long, I got a promotion and also a raise in pay. I bought me a place and I settled down. I decided I'd stay. I've seen them come and I've seen them go, and I've seen them lose all they've got. Pulling those one-armed bandits from a nickel to $1 a shot. They come from the east and they come from the west, and each one is hoping to win. If they could just hit that big jackpot, they think all their troubles would end. Now the losers, the ones that built the casinos and all the hotels that you see, and the only winners are the ones that are working for a living like me. Well, all went well for a time till we elected a new president. And he started talking about cutbacks and too much money being spent. Well, I lost my job, and it wasn't because the people didn't like me. I can blame it on Reaganomics, or not enough senior Well, I'm on my way back to where I come from, and I'll start all over again. To tell you the truth, I think I'm a gambler. Like the rest, I'm just trying to win. Yes, to tell you the truth, I think we're all gamblers, and we're all just trying to win. Thank you so much. I tell you, it's a real joy to share some of the songs and poems that I've written. Another one of the poems, I might give you one. These people came in a little late, didn't they? No telling when we'll quit. I write very few for me. If I can remember one, maybe I'll do this one. I had a journalist to say something to me that was very meaningful. He was going to run an article in my hometown newspaper. A journalist, a well-educated man. He wanted permission to run one of the poems that he had read that I had written. He said, and these are his words, I quote, "You'll never know what one of your poems did for my life." It's called We. We say, I see, but do we really see it all? The beauty's there. It's everywhere. How much do you recall? We take our pride and so we hide true feelings that's inside us. When will we learn to be concerned for others that's beside us? If we deceive and won't believe until it is too late, I am concerned, when will we learn that love and beauty won't wait? It's amazing that the very young and the very old are very truthful, and then we lose it in the middle. Had a lady come up to me, about 85, and I'm sure she loves opera. I don't claim to sing or play, but I write songs. I never dreamed I'd be singing them. She said to me as I shook her hand, "Honey, you don't have a melodious voice, but your words are so good, it doesn't matter." Well, you see, the words is what's important. So that was our compliment. I'm writing a new song. I might share that with you. Some of the things I write are from someone else's standpoint. And I'm a writer. I write all kinds. I have the production number on my album. I never perform with my auto harp. It doesn't fit. It's different. I don't categorize it. The lullaby has been sent to Disney. I hope to see it in the movie. Again, it doesn't fit. When I perform, I'm folk because I I just use this thing to write my songs. I can play guitar, but I can only play 2 tunes, and I have calluses, and that's the end of that. You're in pain. So I just strum this thing to write my songs, and you know, whenever I won the contest, I got up, there were 6 people. It was down to 6, and I was the 6th one. And I had never performed standing up. I had to sit down, and a young man, I had so many friends to help me. He said, "Italene, you'd look better if you didn't have to sit in a chair. If you'd get you a strap, you know," and I tried it off at home, and it was just great. And I got up on that stage to sing, and I tell you what, my legs, I said to myself, I'm never going to be able to stand. They were just going like that. Wow. And I come up to the microphone, and I said, I know why Elvis Presley shook. He couldn't help it. He was so nervous. Just tore him up. Wow. This is one I'm working on, and this was a short ride. I haven't quite finished it. I'll share it with you. I've lived the life of a wife and a mother. I've lived the life of a woman in love. I played with my children and I pleased my husband, and I didn't know what the world was made of. I've lived the life of a woman in business, competing with men and women, it's true. I know what it's like to make all the money and pay all the bills when they come due. Now I'm living the life of a woman in music, singing my songs from my heart and soul, in hopes I can show you that love is the answer. From my heart to your heart, this is my goal. From my heart to your heart, this is my goal. Thank you. Everybody has had someone in their life that has made a difference. And they don't have to do great things. Sometimes it can only be a few words that's spoken to you. Well, there was such a person in my life, spoke a lot of words, and he still does. Very special to many, many people. You want to do something for someone that has helped you. Even if they don't know they've helped you, but you still want to do something. And there's lots of ways to show your appreciation. I wrote a song. I'm sure there's someone you'd like to sing this song to called Thank You. I love you as a person. I love you as a friend. I believe that you helped my heart to mend. There's an innocence about you all people should possess. You restored my faith and added to my happiness. Thank you for the kindness shown to me. Thank you. I hope that you can see I admire you as a person. I love you as a friend. Let me thank you once again. You help so many people in this life from day to day, with everything you do and all the things you say. You have a special way of turning gray skies into blue. You make the world a better place just by being you. There must be many people who feel the way I do. Like me, you've touched their lives, helped them start anew. Your gentle, kind, and loving ways are possessed by very few. I wrote this song and sing it now, especially for you. Thank you for the kindness shown to me. Thank you. I hope that you can see I admire you all as people. I love you all as friends. Let me thank you once again. Let me thank you once again. Thank you so much. It's been a real joy. You know, I don't know, at 65, I'm having the time of my life. I'd have known I was going to have all this much fun at this age. I couldn't have waited till I got here. And that's what it's just a number. If I don't look in the mirror, I don't feel any different than I did when I was 15. And you know, some people let that number interfere with their lives. And I'm trying to convince people to not do that. And there are people who are always trying to help me. And they say to me, "Oh, Italene, I know you must be lonesome." You see, I lost my husband in '82, and I'm still in love with him. I saw a young man right after I won the contest in '87. He reminded me of my husband. And I realized then, I'm so glad that he was taken. Because it wouldn't have been fair for him if he hadn't have been. Because you see, it would have been my husband I would have been seeing and not him. And I realized that I was still in love with him. And people say to me on occasions, even young men, Italene, you ought to go to dinner. I have a full-time job, 2 part-time jobs, and a career. I perform from 6 to 10 performances a week. Besides my other, I stand up and eat. I don't have time for dinner. Besides, I know where dinner goes. Well, I wrote a song and I didn't realize it. The young people just love it. This is one that I happened to sing when I went to the New City Theater in front of 350 college students. Oh, y'all would have loved to have been there. The fellow called me on the phone and he said, I hear that you're a songwriter. Could you come and entertain us? He said, we have in between plays. He says, you can sing 2 songs and then after intermission you can sing 2 more. I said, I'd love it. And I walked in and I said, I'm Italene Gaddis. Oh boy. He said, did you know these are college students? I said, that's what you said, sir. Well, they may heckle you and they may talk while you're singing. Oh, he didn't think I'd be accepted at all. I love a challenge. I didn't know if I'd be accepted either. But I was going to try. Well, I sang Dare to Be Different. Then I sang this one I'm about to sing called Mind Your Own Business. And they wouldn't stop applauding. I gave the microphone back to this fellow that had been scared for me to sing. And when I turned back, they were all standing up and continuing to applaud and holler and whistle. And I wouldn't have took $1 million for what he said. You're going to have to sing another song. We've never had anything like this. Well, I have to share. A fellow said a lot of beautiful things were said when I shook their hands. One fellow said, I asked him how old he was. He said, your songs touch the soul of people. I'll never forget that. I said, how old are you, young man? He said, I'm 21. He said he was a musician. What a compliment, let me tell you. I don't understand it, but I'm enjoying it. And then one of them come up to me just all excited, and he said to me, you're a rebel. I said, thank you very much. I figured it was a compliment. And I went home and wrote The Rebel. And they had me back and sang it for them. But I'm going to sing you this one first. It's called Mind Your Own Business. I don't want no one to tell me what to do or when to do it. I don't need no one to tell me right from wrong. I believe I believe I have a mind, and I think that I can use it. Mind your own business, we will get along. When I was young, they used to tell me everything to say, and they told me where to go and what to do. Well, now I'm over 21, I'm free and on my own. I don't believe I need advice from you. I believe that everybody needs to make their own decisions, whether they are right or they are wrong. It's the way we have of learning in this life that we are living. Mind your own business, leave mine alone. When I was young, they used to tell me everything to say, and they told me where to go and what to do. Well, now I'm over 21, I'm free and on my own. I don't believe I need advice from you. They call me a rebel because I don't follow the pattern that others have set. I think my own thoughts and I walk my own road. So far I've had no regret. Now where is it written that I should live my life like anyone else? We're all born different, and that's reason enough for me to be just myself. Now my songs are all simple, but that's just exactly the way that I like them to be. I never want to confuse anyone, so I speak my mind truthfully. Now you can live your life, and I can live mine, in peace and brotherly love. We're brothers and sisters here on this earth, and we pray to a Father above. If we do the loving as He has taught us, and just leave the judging to Him, it's my opinion we all can be happy, and everybody will win. They call me a rebel because I don't follow the pattern that others have set. I think my own thoughts and I walk my own road. So far I've had no regret. Thank you. Thank you all so very, very much. I'm so glad. Oh, I've got 100 others, but I better give you yours a rest. It is. It's quite a joy to share some of the songs and things. And the next time we do this, we're going to have to hire an airplane with a big banner going over, so the people know about us, right? And I may come into East Sound and just visit all the places, you know. There's always different ways to do things. We don't have to do it the same way everybody else does. My producer put it real well not too long ago. He was telling a fellow about me. He says, you know, everybody else goes to the front door and knocks. He said, Italene just goes around to the back and she's in before they even know what happened. They tried to get me in a corner. I was on a KIRO. And, you know, I think back on these things and I think, you know, people, like I said, I never walked this road before, and this was a talk show, and they played my record, They Say, at the beginning. And it was about how difficult it is for older people to get a job. And he kept saying to me, you know, when you have gray hair, Italene, he says, it's hard to get a job, isn't it? I said, well, now wait just a minute. I said, let's put this in proper perspective. I educated 2 boys. And I said, after they was out of college, they were young. They didn't have gray hair. And you know what? The first thing they wanted to know was, well, what kind of experience do you have? I said, let's put it like it is. It's hard for anyone to get a job, no matter what your age. Well, he said, but you have to admit, he said, you know, sometimes it's hard to find a road to walk whenever you are older. And I said, you know what? When you can't find a road to walk, you make one. My daughter-in-law said that she could have kissed me if she'd been there. And you know, I had 3 people to call in and ask to play the song again at the end of the show. And I didn't think of this until I was on cloud 9 to think that somebody would do it. And these were total strangers. I didn't know these people. And the thing was, later I got to thinking that they might have thought that I had them call in. I thought, oh my goodness, I never thought of that at the time. But I know that the way I was acting, they were all so excited too. They probably didn't think of it till later. But it's wonderful. And a lot of times, you know, you can do things and you don't have to know where you're going, because if you know where you're going, you might now never get there.